So this is the last, or the second needle I'm working of round 15 of the thumb, and you can see it looks plenty long enough. So where do we go from here? Right, so I've done, there's a bit of a bend in there, but don't worry, because blocking is going to take care of all of this. It's just fabulous. Let's have a little look at the little bit of chart that we've got for our thumb. So we've worked all of this chart B, and what we're going to do is we're now going to work this last row, which is row 16, and if you look really closely, you will see that every other stitch has just got this sort of slash through it. I'm not sure if you've watched any of the other videos yet. I did a little bit of a video on decreasing, and this symbol just, it means knit two together, which is going to decrease the top of that thumb so that it will all come together in a nice sort of little neat, you know, it will close it off in a nice little neat way. So we're going to work, oh, I've just dropped my needle, never mind. We're going to work the whole lot, or all of those decreases. I'm so sorry, let me bring it back. You can see all of them are in clay, so we do not need our good old trusty Seafarer anymore. And I'm going to leave just a short tail to be able to weave in. I'm just going to break that yarn. You can see how easily that breaks, so just be aware of that. Right, so I'm turning my needles, and just to go ahead and work in magic loop in the same way as we have been all the way through, and I'm pulling out the back needle. So all I'm doing now is just knitting two together all the way around. So I've got one stitch, two stitch, and I'm gonna put my needle through those two stitches and knit them together. So now we're down to one stitch and where there were two again, and I just use my needle to sort of loosen the stitches up a bit if I have to. Knit two together. We're going to end up after this with 12 stitches, I think, if my maths is right, but you know, I had to do a complete retake earlier because I got the got my counting all wrong, so don't trust me. Let's just see what happens. Right, okay, so I'm now on the last two stitches of this needle. Okay, and we've reduced them all the way down. Let's go and turn. And we're going to do the same again on the other needle. Just knit two together all the way across. 1, 6. Cool. Okay, so if I now look, I have decreased, as discussed, all the way down to just 12 stitches. There you go. Get my cable out of the way. 12 stitches, 6 on each needle. And what we're going to do now is cast off our stitches in a really beautifully simple way. I've got myself a darning needle, and I'm going to break the yarn just as I did Seafarer. I've probably, I don't know, 15-20 centimetres of yarn on there, and I'm going to thread my needle. Just do the seafaring, not Seafarer, so just do the clay through your needle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread this thread all the way through all of these stitches, so it performs like a drawstring function. So I'm going across these first stitches first, from left to right. No, from right to left. Oh dear! So putting my needle in as if to purl, just like we did when we actually took them off onto waste yarn earlier, if you recall. Before I do anything with this, I might just poke that seafaring yarn down inside that thumb. We'll get that out of the way. We're going to sort of turn it through and what's the word? Sew the ends in a minute, so that I just want to get that out of the way. Right, so now I've turned the work around, and I want to continue threading my needle through these stitches. I could do it like that, but just going to make it easier on myself and pull this needle all the way through so that the point is on this end. It just they just come off a bit easier then, don't they? So yeah, again, as if to purl, put that little darning needle all the way through each stitch. Okay, and now I can get rid of my needle because we're finished with it. So I'm just pulling the needle through. Now before I go and give that a pull, if you look, you can sort of just about see that the yarn is threaded all the way through all of those stitches. And bearing in mind how easy it was to break this yarn, I want you to pull this sort of quite gently and keep pulling it sort of from the kind of close to the work. Don't pull it too far away. I just want you to be a little bit gentle so that it doesn't break. But what you do need to do is you need to pull it in firmly, and you will see that that end draws together like a lovely drawstring bag and closes off. And what I do to finish off is I go through those stitches one more time with my darning needle and just pull that in a tiny bit more. Come through the other way. Can't see it because you're just weaving it through, and pull it again a tiny bit more. Now if you look onto the top of that, that's closed beautifully. What I'm going to do quickly, whoops, is flip that over and just turn this through. Get my needle, I tend to poke the needle right through the top of the stitch, but have the glove turned through enough that I can pick the needle through easily. And if I pull like that, turn the whole lot through actually. Have a good old look in here. Oh, got some cheeky ends there coming off of that glove. And all I want to do now is just weave those ends through. Look how beautifully neat it is, that just alternating stitch on the thumb. You can also have a little look at the floats that have been carried across as we've worked the mitten. Gorgeous. So I will quickly just weave off, or weave in just one end for now, because I want to turn it through and have a look and see what it looks like. Okay, you need to do a much better job than that, people, but I'm very keen to see my finished thumb. And there it is. Right, it will shape, so it might look a little bit lumpy and bumpy. It does look lumpy and bumpy, but it is complete. I'm going to turn it that way on so you can kind of see more of it. Your thumb is finished.